This is where the sun was turned for the start of roadworks in the Moruga area. Now, when you hear Moruga, you hear people speak of Moruga, for many people, the first thing come to mind is bad roads, right? And we're not talking cosmetic bad here. We're talking deeply rooted, gut-wrenching bad. As a matter of fact, if you speak to some people from Moruga, the residents, many of them, the state of the road is a reflection of the state of their heart. It is broken, it is bent up out of shape, it is literally falling apart because promises after promises after promises and nothing really concretized has been done. Well, today at the launch, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, also the MP for the area, Dr. Lavelle Francis, and the Minister of Works, Minister Rohan Sinanan, they gave the assurance, including Pure, of course, that this is not going to be the case this time. There's not going to be empty promises. The blueprint is actually going to see fruition. They've planted seeds with their words. They have planted seeds in terms of actually getting things on the ground, the procurement process. Contractors have been selected, and they are saying that it will happen this time. It will happen. Well, I'm going to take you now to the press conference that took place earlier on, and we also spoke to some of the residents in the area as well. Some other matters came up too within the Moruga and Princetown area, which we'll address as well, but it was a really interesting day, and so sit back, relax, and listen to what the minister and the officials had to say about this particular project. You'll also see on our screen as well that the project is in 20 different locations, I believe, that they have targeted along the Moruga stretch, which is very long, and they're doing it, of course, in different phases. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything unfolds in the weeks and months. And well, it's supposed to be just 2 years. So let's see what happens in 2019. If we're going to see smiles or tears. But for now, it has been all smiles right here at the MP office, Dr. Lavelle Francis, in Indian Walk in Moruga. Let's go now to the press conference.
In terms of the Princetown Regional Corporation, Ms. Sonia Francis Yearwood, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works and Transport, Deputy Permanent Secretaries in the Ministry of Works and Transport, Mr. Hayden Phillips, Program Director of the Pure Unit, Mr. Benjamin David, General Manager of the National Insurance Property Development Company, NIBDEC, senior officials of NIBDEC, senior officials of NIDCO, senior officials of the Ministry of Works and Transport, members of the Pure Division, specially invited guests, member of the Moruga Community and Environments, members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official sod-turning ceremony for the Moruga Road Rehabilitation Project, a project that has been long in the making and much anticipated by members of the community. At this point in time, without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Hayden Phillip, Program Director of the Pure Unit, who will provide you with an overview of the ministry's initiatives in your community.
Senator the Honorable Rohan Sinanan, Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hossain, Minister of Local Government, the Honorable Lavelle Francis, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and the Member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland, all other cabinet ministers that may be here, Alderman, Chairman, Councillors of the Regional Corporation, Ms. Sonia Francis, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Works and Transport, other senior officials in Ministry of Works, David Benjamin, General Manager of NIBDEC, other senior officials of NIBDEC, senior officials from NIDCO, specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. The Moruga Road has long been identified as a key access road to the southern coast of Trinidad, which services the communities of Indian Walk, Fifth Company, St. Mary's, Kashif, Rock Road, Basseterre, Bois Jean-Jean, hope I pronounce that right, Grand Chemin, La Lune, and Marak. The Moruga Road Rehabilitation Project extends from Piti Cafe in the north to Marak Village in the south. The entire project spans 35 kilometers of roadway. The project execution strategy will be a phased approach. In undertaking this project, the Pure Unit has once again risen to the challenge of executing all required engineering designs, construction supervision, project management services. This activity will provide a savings of approximately 9%, translated into $18 million of the project budget. The procurement approach envisages the use of multiple local contractors. Significant emphasis will be placed on the contractor's ability to successfully implement the works using local resources. The construction industry has already risen to the challenge of the reduced prices in the Solomon Hochai Highway extension, as well as the Churchill Roosevelt extension to Moruga projects, and we expect similar benefits to accrue in this program of works. The PURE unit commenced the planning and execution of the Moruga Road project in June 2017. During the phase 1 of the project, the PURE team, in conjunction with local consultants, undertook investigative works, which included inter alia, geotechnical investigations, and topographical surveys of the roadway, bridge sites, slope instabilities, and the identification of utilities and its resolutions. Phase 1, the team also intends to construct a reinforced concrete steel bridge, 12-meter span, on B1 and 4 Moro Road, as well as a reinforced concrete box culvert 5 meters on the Lalune Road, B1 and 4. We intend to extend or reconstruct 13 concrete cylinders pipe along the Moruga Road, as well as rehabilitate 7 kilometers of roadway. In the first phase, that is from Petit Cafe Junction to Periyong and from Samuel Cooper to Rocha Douglas Road. And we'll be utilizing a more cost-effective method of construction, namely cement lime stabilization. The PURE unit initiated and completed a tender evaluation process in less than a month. The contracts have been awarded to local contractors, and they are ready to commence the execution of the project packages. The design of at least 22 slope stabilization solutions and 2 remaining bridges will commence in this phase. So whilst we're doing this construction work, in this phase we're also doing this design. As indicated previously, all designs will be carried out in-house. Phase 2 of the project proposes the implementation of all those slope stabilization measures on the Moruga Road, construction of the bridge B22-1 on Moruga Road, and 4.7 on the Lalune Road. All remaining roadworks will be done in phase 3, the final phase of the project. The Moruga Road is scheduled to be completed by 2019 at an estimated cost of some $178 million TT. The PURE team remains confident of completing this project within budget and schedule. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philip. At this point in time, I'd like to invite Dr. the Honorable Lovell Francis, MP for Moruga Tableland and Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, to address you. But before I start, we had consultations in this community about a month ago, and Dr. Francis was very adamant, and I'm speaking to his community members, he was very adamant that this project, he is going to oversee it and he's going to ensure that it is implemented to the best interests of the people of this community. So I know he's very passionate about this project, and I'm sure it will come across in his address today. Let's give him a warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Assuming it's still morning, good morning, everyone. I'll try it again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. A special good morning to my amigo, Minister of Works and Transport, Senator the Honorable Rowan Sinanan. Special good morning to my other amigo, who went down to Marak, but still made it back in time, Senator the Honorable Kazim Hussein. Let me welcome to Moruga, Senator the Honorable Dennis Moses, Minister of Foreign Affairs. Welcome to Moruga, sir. I'll welcome to Marak next time. Good morning, Madam PS, my namesake, who I'm trying to steal from Minister Sinanan, but he's not letting her go. Good morning, PS. Good morning to our head of PURE. Good morning, Mr. Balfour. Good morning to our head of NIPDEC, who has tasted my country cooking before. Good morning, everyone. Mr. Mitchell, good morning. Good morning to members of the executive. Good morning to members of the Moruga community. Good morning, Alderman. Thank you for coming. Good morning to members of the media. Good morning to my staff who's helped to coordinate all this. Good morning to the hardworking members of PURE, hardworking members of NIPDEC. This is, for me personally, but also for me as a member of Parliament for Moruga Tableland, a very, very special day. It has been very long in coming. If I literally tell you that there has been no significant upgrade work on the Muruga Road for a generation. In fact, more than that. I'm 42 years old, and all I've seen is maybe short-term fixes. A little paving here, a little paving there. And because of the drainage issues and the mass wasting issues in terms of the landslide in our communities, it never lasts. It has never lasted. I'm tremendously thankful to the Minister of Works and Transport, tremendously thankful to the Cabinet of this great republic, to the Prime Minister and his absentia. I know he wanted to be here today, but now it goes unforeseen circumstances. I want to thank them for prioritizing Muruga. We have waited for this for a very long time. I have been discussing with the Minister, with Mr. Balfour, very competent Mr. Balfour, with Mr. Roberts, about the nature of this project. And at this point, I am both convinced and assured that what they are doing is going to be a fundamental upgrade of this road that takes into consideration all of the slope stabilization issues, that considers all of the drainage issues, that looks at the narrow bridges. I mean, we still have wooden bridges in 2017 on this road that will really bring a sense of comfort to the people of Muruga. We have waited for this for a long time. And you will note the pronoun is we. I'm not saying they, because I live here. I have lived here all my life. I still live here. So I commute from Muruga to Port of Spain to the ministry every day. It means that I have to face this road every single day. So when there are people who are complaining about the state of the Muruga Road, I could very easily be one of them, because we live with this, and we have lived with this, most of us, for all of our lives. So it is important for everyone, the ministry, PURE, the officials of NIPDEC, the national community, to understand that the upgrade of the Muruga Road is not just an everyday project. It might be the kind of thing that PURE does all the time. It might be the kind of thing that the Ministry of Works does all the time. But for us in Muruga, it is almost life-changing, because we've lived with substandard roads all our lives. And if in 2017 the time has come to put that to an end, the time has come to put that to an end. So everyone must understand, our community is very much invested in this project. This is something about which there is a great amount of feeling, there is a great amount of emotion, there is a tremendous amount of expectation, and there will be a grand amount of observation, and hopefully not intervention. Because what has happened traditionally in Muruga, when there is some semblance of a project, is that there is contracting work done. And if you go around throughout the communities, and yes, Mr. Roberts, bonjour, so you was close, and you ask the people if they are satisfied with what has been done, the responses are usually a crescendo of negatives. Because there is a feeling down here that because we are rural, and maybe in the perception of some, less significant, that any kind of slipshod job can be done here. I am putting it on record in front of the national population today that there is a very different MP of Muruga Tableland now. I have already said I live in Muruga. I don't visit Muruga. I don't come here once a week for constituency day. I live in Muruga. I have lived with this circumstance all of my life. I understand the feelings of the community. I understand the investment of the people, because I have the same feeling and the same investment. We will not be looking forward or expecting the kind of substandard work we've seen in the past. It is our expectation that if the government spends quite a pretty penny, 178 million in difficult times, that we will get value for work, that the problems that have been with us for generations will be rectified, that we will have the kind of decent road that taxpayers in this constituency deserve, and that can open up the larger community of Muruga for the kind of economic development we need. We also expect, and note the pronoun again, we also expect that what habitually happens, which is that large contractors come into the community, they bring the entire workforce with them. The people of Muruga who suffer the dual plague of unemployment and underemployment are left looking at others working in their community. That this time, this project, this will not happen. Note the applause is not for me, it's for the sensibility. So we expect on one hand, top class work. We also expect that the people of this community who have skills, and I meet them every week, because there are trained engineers in this community who are not employed. That the contractors understand that their primary source of labor must be from this community. And we have an abundance of skilled, unskilled, and highly trained technical ability here. It is our expectation that these people be given a fair chance to earn a fair wage on this project. And we expect at the end of it that we will produce a road out of public funding that satisfies the needs and the wants of the people. My job is very simple. My job is just to mark and make sure it happens in that way. And I will be doing that. But at the end of the day, this is a tremendous change for our community. Despite what has happened in the past, despite what may be some reservations, we are tremendously happy today. We are tremendously thankful. And we look forward as a community to partner with the Ministry of Works, the Pure Division, and NIPDEC in making what will end up being a tremendous and fundamental change in the community of Muruga. Thank you.
Thank you. When you are in somebody's home, you must recognize them first. So let me pay tribute to the Minister, Ministry of Education, and the Member of Parliament for Muruga Tableland, Dr. the Honorable Lovell Francis. And for those of you who don't know, the man has a reputation now in the Parliament and in the Cabinet, fighting for his people. Which I will not mention, but fighting for his people. Mr. Hayden Phillip, the Director of Pure, the Honorable Kazim Hussein, Minister of Rural Development, and Senator the Honorable Dennis Moses, Minister of Foreign Affairs, who traveled all the way to Marak this morning. Unfortunately, he said he likes to travel because his portfolio has a lot to do with traveling. I have Ms. Sonia Francis Yearwood, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works and Transport. Also present with us is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Rural Development. Welcome. Ms. Dan Mati, Deputy Permanent Secretary. Other members of PURE. We have the members of NIPDEC, members of NIDCO, members of the Muruga community, members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, it is certainly a pleasure to deliver greetings to you this morning. We have assembled here to witness the start of work that will prove positive and significant for the people of Muruga and surrounding districts. Indeed, the repair and upgrade across 28.1 kilometers of Muruga Road is a critical project that we will overcome. Once completed, this improved artery will increase capacity and decrease journey time and meet the vision of government to see Muruga come into its own, proving far more economically viable than it stands today. While the Ministry of Works carries out this effort for the undertaking construction on the new fishing port and processing facilities will also begin. Moruga Road is intended to upgrade the access to the fishing port and processing facilities at Grand Chemi, thereby creating greater opportunities for those involved in the fishing industry. I am aware that the urban planners attached to the Princestown Regional Corporation cites this area as holding great potential in the area of heritage and cultural tourism. Moruga is well known as a region that holds unique historical significance. Upon the first page of Trinidad recorded history, we find witness of this village as an initial landing site for Christopher Columbus in 1498. Nestled in Moruga can also be found other sites of interest that further brand this area as truly unique and charmed. For instance, you will find the Devil's Wood Yard, the Moruga Spring Bridge, the Triveni Hindu Temple. Fascinatingly, in the Marak Forest, there is a deposit of asphalt, much smaller than the one in La Brea, known as the Marak Pitch Lake. As well, you can find the Moruga Buff, which is a cluster of bubbling mud volcanoes spanning over an acre of land. All of this natural heritage can serve the people well as to trust ahead in supporting our emerging tourist industry. However, for viable and consistent economic growth to occur and for creative ideas to monetize into wealth, good roads are needed. As such, it is my view that repair of the Moruga Road, inclusive of its new design, improved drainage plan, additional pedestrian access, along with other additional features, will contribute to the overall community shaping projects that will help to make Indian Walk, Fifth Company, St. Mary's, Kaship, Rock River, Bastia, Borjage, I got it, Grand Chemi, Laloon, and Grand Chemi, sorry, Laloon and Marak more future ready. Ladies and gentlemen, as the ministry continues to work and advance this mission to make travel more extensive, accessible, and safe, the nation will continuously witness the construction of new motorways and extensive repairs just like this. Almost 2 weeks ago, we proudly launched the CREM in Kumoto. In June, we launched the widening stretch of the highway between Piaco and Mausika along the CRH, which has brought about more fluid travel in the area. As we await the launch of the forthcoming Toco to Valencia Highway and the beginning of work on the Curep interchange, and I can assure you that all of these undertakings will ultimately help to create more jobs and uplift the enriched communities across Trinidad and Tobago. But of course, additional infrastructure is not the only line of strategy. This year, our legal unit has been involved in amending the Motor Vehicle and Road Traffic Act, which was debated and passed in both houses of Parliament, and now procurement by the President. The new law will introduce the red light camera enforcement system, a demerit point system, and the modernized fixed penalty ticketing system. All measures will greatly improve law enforcement's ability to monitor and charge drivers who violate traffic laws. For this reason, we should all look forward to the forthcoming legal instrument that will help make traveling safer for all. As we steadfast move ahead with this project in particular, I, as Minister of Works and Transport, assures my full support to see this road fully repaired and upgraded. All of us involved are equally the people of Moruga await in anticipation for the incremental progress that will eventually open up this rural region to increase opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I just want to congratulate NIDCO. I know this is a NIPDEC project, but just give me 1 minute to congratulate NIDCO. On Sunday, the Transparency International, made a statement, and immediately on the publishing of that statement, NIDCO invited Transparency International to visit their office and look at the procurement measures that they have used in several projects awarded by that company. I think NITCO deserves a round of applause because this is the first time in the history of this country, and if I may dare say in the Caribbean or any part of the world, where a state agency would have invited Transparency International to look at the procurement method that they use. Unfortunately, the invitation was not accepted, and I understand NITCO left an open invitation to them. I want to ask the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Works that you two should invite them. If there are any queries about any projects being awarded at the Ministry of Works, I welcome Transparency International to come and look at the procurement measures. Because if we cannot satisfy the population that what we're doing is right, then we're not going in the right direction. So I want to compliment NITCO on that move. I also want to compliment Pure, because this project is undertaken by Pure. In the past, Pure awarded contracts. This time around, the Pure system is being used here is a tendering process. Nobody, this project will probably end up with about 30 packages. Nobody will get any contract. The contractors will have to tender for the packages, and once you're qualified technically and you have the best price, then you'll be awarded the contract. So we are going in a new direction in the ministry. What we're looking for is value for money to ensure that the little money we spend, we have, that we well spent. And at least we can keep the team doing more with less. Okay, in closing, I leave with you this quote. We cannot seek achievement for ourselves and forget about progress and prosperity for our communities. Our ambition must be broad enough to include the aspirants and needs of others for their sake and for our own. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
The devil's the accuser of the brethren. And he hates marriage because marriage is the image of God. He hates marriage is because it's the most sacred institution on earth. God created marriage in Genesis chapter 1. It is the first institution he ever created, and it's the foundation for every other institution on earth. And he's a strategist. He understands if he can destroy marriage, he can destroy all of society.
So we are not salt and light just by saying it, but by doing. So therefore, we want to bring light to the various issues that people are facing in the Moruga, Princeton area. Of course, we are here at the launch of the Ministry of Works project, where the Moruga Strip is concerned. We also spoke to the mayor of San Fernando about some concerns that were brought to him concerning the new traffic plan and so forth. We also spoke to another resident about what's happening in the area, how he felt about what the minister said about the proposed works. And now we're here with a parent of the Princeton East, that's right, secondary school. She's here at the launch, and we had highlighted this matter actually roughly about 3 weeks ago. This was simultaneously with the San Fernando Central when they had the electrocution, not electrocution, when they had the electrical problem. Nobody got electrocuted, okay? Please don't take all that quote. Nice. And now there's this issue with the air conditioning at the school. Last I spoke to the supervisor, I think, of that area, they said that something should have been done even within that last 3 weeks. So I guess you have a different update for us now, for the public now.
My name is Patrice Drakes. And
what's happening?
Mrs. Actually, nothing is happening at the school as far as parents are concerned, because our children are dismissed by 11 o'clock and sent back home. We have been asking for a reason as to why our children are still being sent home after this has been going on for a number of years. And to date, we have seen little or no improvement to the air conditioning system. Now, the school was built in such a way that you must have an air conditioning system to function. And since the start of this new school term, there has been no full formal classes. Our children come to school, roll is called, they do an assembly, and then that's it. It's heartbreaking to see our children just sitting around. I've been to the school to follow up on what my son is doing every day, and it's just nothing. The teacher said that they'll be giving out handouts, but that is not teaching. Our concern is that each form is a new form, because Form 1s are new to this system, and every child would have been promoted to a new form. So they would have expected to receive introduction into their new work, and it's not happening. So, and we find that the parents need to be a little more active in their pursuit of their children's education.
Now, the Minister of State and the Ministry of Education, he is here, the MP for the area. Have you had a chance to speak with him today at all?
Well, not today, but he has visited our school on more than one occasion. He's quite aware of the situation, and he too has been plugging for us to get improvements, and we have not seen anything.
Let's see if we can get a word from him today, see if he can probably give more information about it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm here with the Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Minister Lovell Francis. How are you, sir? Congratulations. And the one thing I was going to ask you, but you said it before, so I guess of course it's godly wisdom when you said that the people of the area are going to get employment, and I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you very much, because I'm sure that they're looking forward to that, you know.
I live here. Yeah. I am not an import. So I know what normally happens when we have major projects down here, as rare as they have been, which is that some contractor from somewhere we don't know comes and does the job. Normally we're not satisfied with the quality of the job. And then at the end of that, people in the community who are invested, who might ensure that we get a high quality job done, because they live here and they have to live with the work, are never involved. So you basically suffer on both ends. You get substandard work, and then there's no employment, even however short term, generated by it. So what I've been doing is talking with the minister and with the Pure Division, maybe for almost a year now, because I've known about this project for a while, getting them to understand the sensibilities of the people down here. We need something of quality. We don't want a road that's going to wash away in 2 years, which is what always happens. And we don't want a situation where development passes us by. Development is about people. It's not about infrastructure. We could basically build everything we want down here, and if our people aren't invested in it, then it's just dotting the landscape. It's not fundamentally affecting the lives of everyone. So I think I've actually hammered that point home repeatedly, and I think that the understanding resides with those who have to implement the project, and I'm satisfied with that.
Now, One individual I just addressed, he again very confident what you said, but he said he's 60 plus years, and he said he's just hoping that his MP or the plan really bears fruit. A seed has been planted, but he's hoping it bears good fruit. So what would you say to reassure those who are older and may have seen government come and government go, and they see all the blueprint,
I'm not going to toot my horn, because this is not about me. This is not about any individual. It's about a community getting its just due. It's never been the case that there hasn't been an MP from Moruga before. In fact, no one was ever selected before me. I have a personal investment in this. So it's not just about an MP who might be, I'm part of the fabric. Yeah, I heard it. I heard directly and indirectly if it doesn't go the way it's supposed to go. So it's my responsibility, along with the government, to ensure that this is people-centered and people-oriented. Now,
a parent, this is a side issue, but an important one. A parent from the Princeton East Secondary School, we highlighted that issue along this simultaneously with the San Francisco Central when they had the electrical problem. And she's saying to date, nothing has truly been done to deal with the ACSU in that school. And she says you have been trying, but she's growing a bit wary now that it continues.
I understand the wariness. I understand the frustration. I visited that school a few weeks ago, and I don't want to be hyperbolic, to exaggerate, but literally classes were so hot you could fry an egg in them. Yeah. And that happens when you build a school in a tropical climate that allows no ventilation.
And that's something that concerned me, Minister, because you should, in the event of emergencies. So how do we address that?
So the construction is concerning, but at this point that is a done deal, so it's irrelevant. What is relevant is getting a solution. Now that school is a centralized AC system, which is popularly called the HVAC system. It's not really ideally constructed for a school. It requires a tremendous amount of maintenance. The parts are usually foreign, they're very expensive. The ministry has tried on countless occasions to have that properly rectified, have it properly functioning. It has never worked out for any length of period. Minister Garcia and I have been talking about this, and we both believe the time has come to extract that system, shut it down, and put in split units. Now the problem is the split units are expensive. It's going to cost perhaps in the region of 4 to 5 million to outfit each class. So it's a cost, because you have to put a sizable unit, one that can actually keep the classroom cool. And remember, you're having solar radiation hitting a bunker, and it's a closed system, so the heat is going to build up inside.
In terms of the budget that was just read, how much would you say have been allocated to what some of these issues?
The budget is specific in that money is allocated to specific things, but we sometimes have sums for upgrades, for expansions. And then the ministry has ways, with the permission of the Minister of Finance, of moving around funds to take care of emergencies. This is an emergency. This school, they've lost a term last term. They're in the midst of losing too much teaching time now. It has to be rectified. EFCL is on the case. There was a meeting at the ministry with EFCL in terms of a plan to go forward. The job now is to have it implemented in the shortest possible time.
ETA, or you're still not too sure?
You see, I've been in the ferry JSC, and I haven't been at the ministry to manage things. Minister Garcia is there doing his part. We will talk on Friday, and I will be able to give you a short term, but in the shortest possible time to have this done, because in my mind it is criminal to have students missing in school time for reasons that really should have been rectified perhaps in the vacation period.
So thank you very much for your time, and God blessings to you and all the work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm here with the Minister of Works, Minister Rohan Sinanan. How are you, sir? And congratulations to yourself and your ministry and all that has been going on today. On our way to the event this morning, we were noticing, different roadworks taking place. Of course, they are patching certain areas, and I'm really. It warms my heart to see the extensive work that is being done in the Moruga, or at least planned to do in the Moruga area, because that was raised there that, over the years of just getting patchwork, right? And again, so how do you feel being part of this project in this dispensation? Because again, Moruga people, as one man said, he's very pleased to hear what he's hearing, but he's going to wait. And you can't blame him, because again, it's been how many years? But you being part of it now, what confidence would you give them? What reassurance would you give the citizens, the residents of this area, that listen, it will be done?
All right, let me tell you where this project started. During the preparation for the manifesto of the People's National Movement, one of the things that we wanted to get done is the fishing village in Moruga. because that is a major project for this area. You cannot spend a lot of millions down there and there's no proper access, because it's not going to encourage people to come to the area and to use the facility. This road was a project that when I came into the ministry was at NIDCO. However, somewhere along the line, it was not moving as fast, cost and different factors. I had asked the pure unit to look at it, look at this road and see if we could do it under the pure program, where we can, as we did there, rather than waiting for one contractor to come in and do this entire thing as a project, if we could break it up and we could have some smaller contractors doing it in phases where we could, do, as we have money, do the project. They were very successful in doing that. They did all the engineering drawings in-house. They actually broke it down into 30 packages. And I am happy that they were able to bring the cost significantly down. What we did here today is not just the launch of a thought. They're actually going to start work on Monday. The work is going to start on Monday. All right, and I expect that this project to be completed in time for the port. So by the time the port is finished, everything will be synchronized. And in terms of the Maruga constituency, and I am from a rural area as well. I am from San.
You're aware of the pain.
And I know that somehow or the other, rural areas are always forgotten. And one of the decisions that I took as the minister is that I am not going to stay in Port of Spain and try to run the Ministry of Works. I want to go into all the constituencies. I have finished 39 constituencies in 10 months, meeting with all the MPs who are available or their representative, identifying what are some of the challenges that they have. So I have a work program now based on funding and priority. I am going to execute that.
Minister, I want to bring something to your attention, and this is, of course, in relation to the highway work that has resumed along the Mosquito Creek, coming up there on that stretch. And one of the concerns that some people have brought to my attention, I've experienced it, even though the work is going on, yes, sometimes the lights that the contractors are using, it may not be sufficient. Some areas don't have street lights, depending on where, like by Paria Suites in particular, that area is extremely dark. And we are sensitive to the fact that they are doing work, but can that be addressed, because it is very dark and sometimes people cannot maneuver properly through the barriers?
What I will do, I would ask NIDCO immediately to look at it, because these are things that definitely could be done. I see no reason. I mean, we really would not want to have any tragedies because of lighting or anything like that. So I would ask NIDCO to look at it and try to address that immediately.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for being a light in the situation for the people of Maruga. Thank you.